Hi everyone, Gerry Dulac along with Ray Fittipaldo at Acirusre Stadium following the Steelers' 23-9 victory against the Cleveland Browns. Our Steeler Report brought to you by Savinas, Kane & Gallucci, mesothelioma and asbestos lawyers with 85 years of experience of getting millions of dollars for their clients. Go to sdklaw.com. Ray, it's become a formula for the Steelers here the last two games. A stifling defense, their ability to run the ball, and big timely throws from Aaron Rodgers. And it's added up to 3 consecutive wins now. They're 4-1. They have one of the best records in the AFC.
Yeah, listen, Jerry, I thought the key to this game, playing Dillon Gabriel, who was making his second NFL start, they shut down the running game and they forced Dillon Gabriel to pass 52 times. I am quite sure that was not in Kevin Stefanski's game plan, but anytime you're able to do that, put the pressure on a rookie like that, I think you knew they were in for a pretty good day.
Yeah, he dropped back to throw 58 times. He was sacked 6 times. He was hit 16 times, Ray. That's a season high for the Steelers. Conversely, Aaron Rodgers, no sacks. He was hit only 3 times. That's the kind of pressure they generated on Dillon Gabriel. Nick Herbig, again, 2 sacks. Jalen Ramsey was playing on a pitch count with that hamstring injury, almost didn't even play. 2 sacks and big plays again. That's what they've been getting from this defense. And shutting down the run. Quinshon Judkins came in with more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, and they did a good job of shutting him down. They held the Browns to 65 yards. That's only 135 yards in the last 2 games, Ray, and we know what happened in the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Teams were running through them left and right.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey joked after the game he's going to tell his kids about this game someday because he played in the game with T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett. Right. He had more sacks than both of them. But, yeah, just getting back to the run defense, how bad it was early in the season, and then for them to turn it around. And I think you would say, Jerry, the wins against the Vikings and the Browns were their 2 most convincing wins of the season. I know they're 4-1, but these last 2 games are the way they want to play, and I think that's a good sign for them going forward.
You know, and the other thing too, Ray, I wouldn't discount that Patriots game because we've seen them win 2 in a row. They've gone to Buffalo and they won. They went to New Orleans and won.
Yeah. And
the Steelers went to New England and beat that team. So they're better than what people think. So when you look at these last 3 games, they've been very important. And again, the game against the Vikings, of course, they made it close at the end, but that was a dominant performance for 3.5 games.
Yeah.
And even though this was 23-9, it wasn't 30-6. The Steelers basically controlled this game. The Browns were just trying to play catch-up. They ran 75 plays, Ray.
Yeah.
74 of which were mostly inefficient.
In another game from Aaron Rodgers where it was pretty much mistake 3. Now, 3 of the first 5 games of the season, he has not been intercepted. He has 11 touchdown passes and only 3 interceptions on the season. He's not going to put up stats where he's going to be in the MVP conversation with Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield or anyone like that. But, Jerry, he's playing winning football. He's doing exactly what the Steelers need to win football games.
Yeah, 115 passer rating today, Ray. That's the 3rd time in 5 games he's had over 100 and hasn't been intercepted now in the last 2 games. And he's only been sacked twice in the last 3. Don't forget, he was sacked 7 times in the first 2 games. The offensive line has played very well. I know Broderick Jones got some help today, but I'll tell you what, Broderick Jones in the last 3 games, nobody talks about him anymore after they complained about him the first 2 games. That's a good thing for an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen love anonymity. You don't want to be talking about an offensive lineman because if you are, that means they're not playing well.
Broderick had a chance after the game to talk about it, too, and he didn't want to talk.
He declined again. I don't understand why he does that, but he does that.
But, give credit to him. Also give credit to Pat Meyer because there's a lot of pressure on Pat Meyer as well. The offensive line overall, not just including Broderick, but just overall, they weren't running the ball well early. Now the running game is getting going. They're keeping Aaron Rodgers clean, and I think you see what it means. Efficient passing game and an efficient running game as well.
You know, Ray, they weren't eye-popping numbers in terms of run totals. They had 100 yards, 20-some carries. But they had 5 runs of 10 yards or longer, and in the first couple games, they only had 1. In fact, if you recall, Mike Tomlin bemoaned the lack of chunk runs, and now they've at least been getting them. And let's face it certainly helps the passing game. It helps the play action. I love that they came out. They started the game with the heavy package again, which is what they used against the Vikings. And then what does he do? He rolls out play action and throws 25-yard, 23-yard completion to Darnell Washington.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great scheme by Arthur Smith. He knows that the Browns know what they're going to do in that personnel package, and then he has a counter to it. And getting back to the running game, Jerry, You could talk about having a bell cow or sticking with a hot hand, but I thought the fresh legs of all three running backs. Caleb Johnson also had 6 carries today. They didn't ride the hot hand. They just let everyone get involved. And I thought by the second half, they were wearing down that Browns defense.
Yeah, and getting Jaylen Warren back certainly helps because now Kenneth Gainwell doesn't have to have a career high in carries, and we saw a number of big runs from Jaylen Warren. Ray, let's flip over to the other side of the ball. Speaking of getting players back, the defense got Joey Porter Jr. back. They got Alex Highsmith back. It's the first time this year they played with their full complement of people on defense. And Mike Tomlin said, "That's the brand. When we get that, that's the kind of brand of football that we can play." What you saw out there today.
And most importantly, Jerry, they had no significant injuries other than the Miles Killebrew injury, and that's significant for their special teams. But for the defense on a short week, it was great news. Now I know Darius Slay went out, but he came back in. Joey Porter went out. He was evaluated for a head injury, but he came back in. So they should have, their full secondary again for the Bengals on Thursday night. And I know we're going to talk about it all week. Steelers, short week on the road against a division foe. It's not a good record.
You know, Ray, getting Highsmith back, you look at the most important position on this defense, and that's outside linebacker. Now you've got 4 guys who are rotating in there, and I don't want to forget Jack Sawyer, who, when he plays, he's been very effective. Of course, Nick Herbig leads the team with 4.5 sacks, and T.J. Watt has been disruptive again. Only had, I think, 1 sack? Half a sack. Yeah. But he deflected 2 other passes, jumped offside a couple times, too, hurt him on the one time. But you're seeing him be more of a factor. For example, Myles Garrett, you didn't even know he played today. Yeah. Now, I know the Steelers used an extra body on him a lot, but he was a non-factor in every aspect of the game. Teams do that to T.J. Watt, and yet he was a factor as always. And Nick Herbig, big-time plays anymore.
Yeah, listen, Myles Garrett is a very good player, but T.J. always finds ways to impact games. You mentioned the 2 batted down passes. You know he's going to draw double teams. That's one of the reasons Nick Herbig has been so effective. He's not facing the types of double teams and shit that T.J. Watt is on the other side. So now that they have what their outside linebackers coach Denzel Morton calls their full metal jacket, this defense is going to be pretty good up front.
Mike Tomlin wanted to recognize and honor Nick Herbig, if you will. He had him and included him in the pregame introductions with the defense, introduced 12 players, so that's a nice little thing for Nick Herbig. That's how well he's been playing. The Steelers will turn around real quick. They'll play the Bengals Thursday night in Cincinnati in prime time and on Prime TV. Ray and I will be there for that game. For Ray Fittipaldo, I'm Gerry Dulac. You're watching Post-Gazette.com.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.